Welcome, everyone, to TJ and the Grumpy Old Man, a twice-a-week sports podcast where I'm your host, TJ, and with me always, the Grumpy Old Man. They say there's no shame in his game because he's always the same.
That's me.
We talk all things sports, have a good time, and shoot the shit. Now, we go live every single Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and every single Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Grumpy. What are you doing this for? What are you doing that for?
Because it's 9 o'clock-ish.
Oh, 9 o'clock-ish.
9 o'clock TJ time, which is 25 after 9.
Oh, man. Yeah, okay, fair enough. We're running a little behind today. There's been a lot, and I'll be honest with you, I got fixated on the Arkansas-Gonzaga game. Man, right down to the wire. I tell you, Arkansas has now made 2 deep runs in back-to-back, NCAA tournaments, and they were the 4 seed this year. They made it to the Elite Eight in back-to-back years, I think.
And Gonzaga just finds ways to lose. I think a lot of it has to do, they don't play a whole lot of top-level competition during the season. And, it is kind of is what it is. You're not battle-tested.
I was about to say, I mean, they played Duke really close at the beginning of the year, but when you can kind of say
and lost.
It was right down to the wire, though. If you could say I can slough off there against lower competition, you're right. I think the teams that are more battle tested, the teams that have closer games and have to really fight and claw their way for victory sometimes, are a little bit better equipped for these big time moment games. I mean, Gonzaga, they won. Gonzaga won 1 or 2 years ago, didn't they?
No, they've never won. They've never won. They've been runner-up twice recently.
Gotcha.
I think North Carolina. I think last year to Baylor. I think Baylor beat them in the finals last year.
Honestly, is it weird to say I don't remember last year's college NCAA tournament all that well?
And it's funny because the announcers said Butler won last year. Well, I know Butler didn't win. It was Baylor. So, but yeah, I thought Gonzaga did win last year, but then the more, I'm watching this year's tournament, they're like, yeah, no, they never won. Baylor was last year's champion.
Baylor. Yeah, that's right. Baylor did. My gosh. That crazy time. Jeremy F saying, wow, Bailey just scored. Holy shit. I tell you, isn't it funny? Josh Bailey finds a way to make an early appearance on the show. But for those of you who are new to the show, we welcome you and we invite you to stick around a while. We invite you to subscribe on YouTube, to like on Facebook, and to follow on Twitter. I know the schedule upcoming will be a little odd for the next 2 weeks. It will be kind of odd. I'm going to be flying over there to Scotland and the United Kingdom visiting areas. So we will not be having the every Thursday and Sunday podcast that you guys are accustomed to, but we will still try to be podcasting once a week over there. So we're going to try our best. No guarantees. That being said, Grump, this year's NFL offseason has been freaking nuts. It's been ludicrous. It's been insane.
The craziest ever. I can never, ever remember top-end talent moving at this level. I mean, just quarterbacks, top-flight wide receiver, and the money that they're getting is just ridiculous.
They must know something regarding like the cap increases and the salary cap increase. They must know something that we don't. Tyreek Hill. We're talking about Tyreek Hill, who was traded to the Miami Dolphins. Man, oh man, you want to talk about adding another big weapon to that Miami Dolphins offense, right? You originally had Waddle last year who came on and played really well as a rookie, and now you're adding a guy, Tyreek Hill, who's a top 5 wideout in the NFL. Man, you've got quite a dirty and quite a threatening wide receiver duo.
Well, not just that. They also signed Cedric Wilson from Dallas, who was really good for them last year. They've always had injuries either to Amari Cooper or to Michael Gallup, and he's filled in admirably, honestly. So they signed him this offseason. They've also signed 2 new running backs in Chase Edmonds, who will probably be their third down back, but also Raheem Mostert. If he can stay healthy, that's the biggest thing. All these guys have jets. I mean, they can all run, right? And then they just signed Armstead, the left offensive tackle from New Orleans. I mean, they're in it to win it. The only question that the Dolphins have right now is the quarterback good enough?
Well, did you hear the rumor that apparently the Miami Dolphins are big in on Tom Brady?
I have heard that rumor, yes. I didn't want to bring it up because you always say that I'm talking about Tom Brady all the time. But, yes, I've heard the rumor. It would be Tua, going to the Bucks because Bruce Arians likes him, shows what a dope he is, as well as maybe a draft pick or two for Tom Brady, and that means where Gronk would go. He would automatically go to the Dolphins.
And that's what people are saying right now. So Dale
Dale Arnold.
Dale Arnold, he writes and works there in that Boston area. So he has familiarity with Tom Brady for his years back with the Patriots. Maybe has some inside pull. And he brings up points of saying, why is Rob Gronkowski not signed if Tom Brady's going to be with Tampa long term? Right. And so I'll tell you, you want to talk about a complete 180 for the Miami Dolphins, right? You think about how easy it is to forget everything that happened with Brian Flores when you say, I'm pumped up now because we brought in Tyreek Hill, we brought in Eric Armstead. Now we could possibly bring in a guy like Tom Brady into the mix in the equation. I still think they have holes on the offensive line, but Jesus, you want to talk about a real revamp of that team in Miami.
Does that not put them over the top? They're definitely a playoff team. If Tom Brady's there, I guarantee they make playoffs. Guaranteed.
That's it. Mind you, though, I mean, the Buffalo Bills are a tough team that plays in that division. But I think, if you add a guy like Tom Brady, my goodness, wow! I cannot fathom every single day there seems to be like there's a new crazy story in the NFL offseason. And Tyreek Hill happened just earlier on this week, and now he's put on the back burner. You're thinking about Tom Brady, right? Tyreek Hill's traded from the Kansas City Chiefs and signs the largest contract that any wide receiver signed for the Miami Dolphins. And you think to yourself, wow, look at that. The Green Bay Packers then lose not only this offseason Devontae Adams, but Marquez Scantling Jr. And you think to yourself, wow, apparently it was very important for Aaron Rodgers to be a competitor and play for a very competitive team. And yet the contract he took prevented the Packers from re-signing Scantling Jr. or Valdez Scantling and Devontae Adams.
True. For me, it's like, this has been so crazy. You never see actual players moving in the NFL, with the exception, of course, of free agency. But my gosh, what Miami has done, they're just saying, we're in it to win it. Even if it is with Tua there, this is going to be the greatest chance he has to succeed. He has no excuses, right? He's going to his third year. Are they going to would they pick up a fifth-year option on him? They totally revamped the offense this offseason. Absolutely. Tyreek Hill. Now, that said, is Tua really the quarterback you want and throwing the ball to Tyreek Hill?
Well,
or are they going to scheme?
Hold on. Interesting you bring that up. That is exactly what I was gonna speak to you about. So Tyreek Hill is known for a guy who can really gash defenses on these huge, long developing routes. They've got a lot of speed and had a lot of speed out there with those Kansas City wideout group, and he's known for really dicing up defenses on these huge, explosive plays. But I did find this very interesting for a little research I did. Now, you see Tua has the third quickest average release time in the NFL. And Jalen Waddle has the third most receptions within 2 seconds of the snap, of 46. And Tyreek Hill, fourth most receptions within 2 seconds of the snap. So you're looking at a lot of guys that can get here's the thing, even if they don't get a guy like Tom Brady, I feel like there's going to be a lot of quick passes, get the ball into his hands, immediately let it leave, immediately get it to the outside edge. Let our playmakers do what they can. I don't see Tua saying, hey, I'm going to be a long ball guy. That's just not the type of quarterback he is, right? I think they're going to try to scheme it to where, hey, get the ball out of your hands as quick as humanly possible. Let our skilled players make plays.
And both of these guys are capable of doing that. I heard people say, well, they could run Tyreek Hill like they do Deebo Samuel in San Francisco. Yeah, no. He's a big guy where Hill's a smaller player. Maybe Waddle. But I like that. But who's the number one guy with quickest average release? Do you want to know who it is?
Who's it, Grump?
The guy in Tampa.
Tom Brady.
That's right.
Looky there. Wow.
I found that incredible. Isn't that really a better story if Brady goes to Miami? And all right, he came back. He's playing in Tampa, maybe. But man, to go to Miami to play against the Patriots twice a year in that loaded AFC, because the AFC is absolutely loaded for bear. But you know what? The AFC West, you got to think about it. All those teams are not making the playoffs. They're going to beat each other up all season long. So, I mean, if you're in a weaker division like the AFC East, um,
I
teams like
don't.
that could benefit.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You're not gonna. I don't buy that. The NFC South is the worst division in all of football. The
Yeah,
worst.
I'm just talking about the Dolphins potentially making the playoffs.
I'm sorry. The NFC South is not the worst. It's the NFC East that's the worst. The NFC
That's right.
South is not much better, right? Because now Matt
Sure.
Ryan, holy shit, you talk about putting news on the back burner. Matt Ryan was traded from the Atlanta Falcons to the Indianapolis Colts, and I mean, the NFC South is bad. I mean, you look at how many gaping holes, right? The Saints re-signed back Jameis Winston as their quarterback.
Yeah.
Yikes, he's not the answer. Now the Falcons don't have a quarterback. Matt Ryan's gone. The Carolina Panthers still have Sam Darnold. Yikes. So if Tom Brady were to leave the Bucks and Tua Tagovailoa were to be moved, let's say, to the Buccaneers in that trade where Brady goes to Miami, wow, who's the best quarterback in the NFC South then? Is it Jameis Winston or Tua or Sam Darnold? My God, the names are not great.
And QB to be named later in Atlanta. Oh, I'm sorry. Marcus Mariota is in Atlanta.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ugh.
Totally forgot about that.
I do.
I mean,
Yeah, that's right.
I've been here, but I'll be honestly, Bruce Arians might say that he likes Tua, but his offense is not geared for a Tua Tagovailoa type quarterback. You have to be able to throw the ball deep. That's what he likes, deep down the field. That's what he likes. That's like 1970s style offense, and it worked for 1 year, but that's not the way the NFL is built now. I can't believe the money that wide receivers are getting. That's crazy.
And the thing, and when I think about this real quick, Valdez Scantling, he got 3 years, 30 million. And again, he's never really blown up onto the scene. He's always been a guy who's kind of like, hey, I'm on the outside. I can provide, I'm a third number 3 wide receiver. But I mean, 3 years, 30 million for a third wide out.
Crazy. Well, Tampa did the same thing with Russell Gage. I think Russell Gage is a better third down wide receiver than
I
Scantling.
think Russell Gage is a better wide out than Valdez Scantling anyway.
Yeah. I mean, he's like a deep ball guy, Scantling. I mean, he's got wheels. He can really motor, but he's not Tyreek Hill. And remember what I said? Kansas City's going to be right up at the top until Mahomes' contract kicks in. This year is when it kicks in.
Well, here's the thing. We're going to talk about Kansas City here in a bit. I want to. There's so much to talk about. I don't want to jump away from that. I want to go really quickly because we touched on the Atlanta Falcons. Do you think the Atlanta Falcons regret picking Pitts? What was it 4th overall, 5th overall when last year was such a quarterback heavy draft, and now they go ahead and trade away Matt Ryan. They lose Gate. I mean, you've got the gambling issue there with Ridley. I mean, they're in full on rebuild. Wouldn't you say the Atlanta Falcons? Don't you think they regretted? In that premium draft, to pick quarterbacks, they did not select one.
Count Chocula cannot be happy down in Atlanta.
Oh my gosh. I tell you, he does look a little bit like Count Chocula.
Absolutely. You should throw those 2 pictures up. I mean, without a doubt, Count Chocula and Arthur Blank, particularly in the Super Bowl loss. I mean, him down on the sideline when he thought that game was over, and then you just see, oh, he looks just like Count Chocula.
I'll try to get it pulled up. But yes, Grumpy, you were talking. I'm sorry. I wanted to speak one more time about the Atlanta Falcons. And man, oh man, the NFC South. Imagine if they trade away Tom Brady. The NFC South I still think Tampa is the best team in the NFC South, but man, the Saints are kind of starting to wither away. All those years of mortgaging off, right? They had chances. All those years of saying, hey, we've got to give these huge contracts. We've got to backload them. We've got to go ahead and try to do anything we can to keep Drew Brees' window open as long as possible. You're about to hit the hard times. You're about to hit the rough times. The Carolina Panthers are just miserable. Always have been, I feel like, except 1 year here or there. They're not much improved. And I'll be interested to see what they do in the draft. And you look at the Falcons, you say, yikes. That entire division is just not great.
They don't even have a wide receiver on their team. Ridley's out for the year with the gambling thing. Gage is gone. All they have is Kyle Pitts. And in the Saints' defense, in the NFL, the quarterback is everything.
That's true.
If you have one, you have to keep that window open. You don't move those guys early. I mean, and that's what they did. I mean, unfortunately, his arm wasn't what it was the last couple of years, but they were certainly a better team with him as quarterback as opposed to either Taysom Hill or Jameis Winston.
Oh, my God. Yeah, I saw they re-signed Jameis Winston back to a one-year deal. I'm just kind of like, yikes. Man,
They had no other options. He knows the system. What are you going to do? Bring in a Baker Mayfield? I mean, he doesn't know the system. Remember, Dennis Allen's the new head coach. You know he's not going to change what's been working with Sean Payton. They're a team right now that's in a little bit of disarray also. Atlanta is terrible, though. I don't know what they're going to do.
what I worry and wonder about is where is Baker Mayfield's landing spot going to be? Because it was originally rumored, right? Maybe he's going to be going to Indianapolis.
They said that he's not going to Carolina. He doesn't want to go to Carolina. Carolina says they don't want him. So there's my boy, Count Chocula. There he is. Look at him.
Chocula, yeah.
And there he is. Tell me those guys aren't exactly the same. Oh, yes. There they are. Perfect.
Oh, man. I love it. I love it. I'm sorry. But you said that Baker Mayfield doesn't want to go to Carolina.
That's what he said after the fact. After Carolina said they had no interest in acquiring Baker Mayfield. Okay. Who else is out there? Jimmy Garoppolo's still out there.
Yep. I was about to say Jimmy. That's right. Jimmy Garoppolo. The two guys. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo was going into the offseason, right? I think he was the person that everybody would have said, yes, he's most likely to be traded no matter what, because there's no way, right? He's got a big portion of that cap that comes in. They're going to try to trade away Jimmy G, maybe his value for another team based off of what he's done for the 49ers. And they're going to let Trey Lance, after, start learning under Jimmy G's tutelage for 1 year, they're going to let Trey Lance take the reins. And now, I mean, Jimmy G is still left. You don't want to be, as you say all the time on the Honors Never Say Die podcast, you don't want to be the last person without a chair.
And you're screwed, right? And what's the thing with Jimmy G? Why hasn't he moved? Well, because he had shoulder surgery. And, shoulder surgery's pretty bad for a quarterback. You never know how they're going to recover. And he's not even going to start throwing till the end of June. I mean, so if he's got to go to a new team, learn a new offense, and you can't even throw till June, and he's always hurt. I mean, can't you see him getting hurt again? And then you got Baker Mayfield. Who's the last guy standing? Or is one of them going to have to wait? Well, Garoppolo's different because he's actually signed with the 49ers. But Baker Mayfield, is he going to have to wait till the season starts and somebody gets hurt before they give Cleveland a call? I don't know. We're going to find out. It's just been crazy. I've never seen this much quarterback movement. People were predicting it last year, saying 18 to 20 teams could have new quarterbacks. It didn't come to fruition. This year it has. This has been crazy. I mean, as a off-season football fan, nothing gets better than this.
Well, I do have a few things to show you. So, by the way, the second grand jury. Now, this was one of those items, kind of shifting a little bit here. There was a second grand jury that was going to determine whether they wanted to indict Deshaun Watson, but they determined to decline to do so after reviewing the sexual misconduct complaint. So, I assume this means that Deshaun Watson's in the clear, would it not?
Yeah,
I'm no legal guy, but I assume once you go through the grand jury twice and they both decline to indict you, I assume you're in good standing order.
I heard the weather forecast today in Cleveland was high wind. Whoosh. Thank goodness. And Deshaun Watson. Whoosh. Happy for that.
Oh man, I tell you. So yes, that was some news there. Now let's talk a little bit about Kansas City. Right, they lose Tyreek Hill. They've had some movement on their roster this year. Now people are trying to wonder, how does Kansas City bounce back from this? Right, they thought it was odd too that they went ahead and signed Juju Smith-Schuster to that 1 year prove it type deal. And they're kind of left scratching their heads like, okay, maybe they're just loading up even more, right? Tyreek Hill is now on the way out. Patrick Mahomes' stats without Tyreek Hill: 4-1, 350 passing yards game, 8 touchdowns to 1 pick. Let me ask you, what type of impact do you think Tyreek Hill having left will have on the Kansas City Chiefs?
Okay, let's say Tyreek Hill did not play against Buffalo in the AFC playoffs, a divisional round. Is Scantling Valdez going to catch that 10-yard hitch and run it 75 yards for a touchdown? No, he's not. He brings something to their offense. I think this actually makes Kansas City weaker, losing him, but it also makes Tyreek Hill not as productive because he was a perfect fit with Patrick Mahomes, where, he's just kind of running around out there on the field, Tyreek Hill, and Mahomes could just make incredible throws down the field when pressured.
Think about how many times there would be a broken play because, again, they've got good protection for Patrick Mahomes. They really do. A lot of times they've got really good protection for Pat Mahomes, and he's able to extend plays. And when you have a very dangerous wideout like Tyreek Hill that's able to go ahead and dice up defenses, and you got great protection, right? He's going to find a way to get open. And when he does, you're going to be dealing with a world of hurt. I mean, that Chiefs team has a lot of offensive weapons, right? I mean, tight end play, right? We don't know if it's rumored that possibly Tom Brady may go to Miami, right? You have to assume him and Gronk are a package deal. But right now, I mean, wide receiver or tight end play is not as good as Travis Kelce's best tight end in the league, receiving wise, that is. And you look at the other wideout weapons they had, just speed oriented.
Yeah, here's the thing. Kelsey's on the downside, still puts up good numbers, but he's not the player he was 2 years ago. Remember, he's going to be 33, 34 years old next year. So he's starting to slow down. And I was not against this trade for Kansas City. Yes, it weakens them, but you're able to reload. You get a 1, 2, and a 4 this year. I thought it was going to be Miami's first pick. It's actually San Francisco's number 29. So a 1, a 2, and a 4, and then next year's 4 and 6. Like I said, they needed to retool. They need to get younger players to help out their salary cap situation going forward. And they're going to draft a wide receiver in the first round. That's a given.
Here's the thing. I think this trade worked out well for both teams. As I was about to say, I think that this definitely helps out Miami. It solves the issue of, hey, how many offensive weapons we had. It was really Waddle. Devontae Parker is a guy who's injury prone. You don't have to be as reliant upon him. Is Will Fuller still with the Dolphins? I don't know if he got released. I assume he's still with the Dolphins. When healthy, when not on PED list, Will Fuller's a really good wideout. But again, you got a lot of injury questions there. You've added a lot more stability in the top tier wide receiver. You got a lot of wideout weapons. Now, just to show you a little bit about Kansas City, I thought this was interesting. Kansas City has 12 picks in the 2022 NFL draft, more than any other team out there. They have 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, 2 third-round picks, and 2 fourth-round picks. So you talk about a team that had been mortgaging off, just like a lot of these teams do when they're competing there for a Super Bowl, mortgaging off draft pick, year after year, and now they've got a chance to really reload. They've got a lot of cap space under the books as well. I think it was $28 million in free available cap space, and you're going to have 6 picks in the first 3 rounds or 8 picks in the first 4 rounds. You can really go ahead and try to load up and backfill some of those spots that maybe were lacking to improve the overall team. Maybe you lose a huge talent in Tyreek Hill, but you're able to improve the overall production on the field.
Okay, they're not going to make 8 picks in the first 4 rounds.
They're probably going to trade up, I'm certain.
Absolutely. There's not a whole lot of spots on that team open. Yes, they need wide receiver help. Yes, they could use some cornerback help. Yes, they could use defensive line help, but I mean, they revamped their offensive line last year. They don't need that. Maybe they get a younger tight end to groom under Travis Kelce. I mean, but for me, I think you're going to see them draft 2 wide receivers. I'm thinking you're going to see them. That's going to be definitely their first round pick. And not knowing where he goes, the kid from Arkansas, Burks,
Burks.
Yeah, I think that's a guy that they're going to target. A big guy who can really run and stretch the field. And he makes plays with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, Juju Smith-Schuster is a big guy who can run and stretch the field.
He's hurt. No, he's a slot guy. He's predominantly a slot guy, and he's hurt all the time.
Is he 6'2"? Okay. He had the one injury. Don't brand him as injury prone.
I just did. He's been hurt the last 2 years. Unproductive.
Let me pull up. Okay, how many games did he play 2 years ago? I know last year he tore his ACL. It's not much. Okay, that's not true. Okay, he's okay. In 2020, he played in all 16 games. In 2019, he played in 12 games, started in 12 games. And then 2018 played in all 16 games.
Okay, maybe 2020, but he was banged up in 2020 also. And he was hurt in 2021.
2021, he only played 5 games. And in 2022, he tore his knee before the season must have been.
There you go. Like I said, recently he's been unable to stay on the field, and he got passed by Deontay Johnson as a number 1 wide receiver. That's just what happened. And he's had some little niggling injuries. While even when he was playing, he was still banged up a little bit. It happens. I mean, I'm not blaming them. if you're going to take a flyer on a guy, a little bit expensive, 10.25 million, but still, he does have pedigree. And if he's going to be your slot guy, I think it works. I don't think that Valdez-Scantling is that good, though.
Well, also in other news, the Miami Dolphins are putting a new member out there at the Hard Rock Stadium. They're enshrining somebody into the Dolphins Hall of Fame. Grumpy, do you happen to know who this is?
The guy who serves the concession stand.
That's Laramie Tunsil.
Ugh.
What are you going for, Grumpy?
He looks like somebody who should be behind the counter. Chicken wings? Sure. Chicken tenders and fries with that? Yes, sir. Here you go. You want a drink? Sure.
The reason they're enshrining him, Grumpy, is because do you remember how much the Houston Texans and Bill O'Brien made some miserable trades for the Texans? We talk about how Lou Lamoriello could set the franchise back years. Bill O'Brien set the Houston Texans back a freaking decade, if not more, with the trading away of Hopkins, with the acquiring of Laramie Tunsil, and then everything that got mishandled thereafter. But look at this, Grumpy. For Laramie Tunsil, they originally traded away 4 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and a third-round pick. I forgot it was that much. And do you want to know what the Laramie Tunsil trade has evolved into regarding their draft capital or regarding pieces for them?
They've made some bad picks, but Miami should have been loaded if their GM or college scouting evaluators knew what they were doing. They'd be loaded right now.
Well, the Tunsil trade has resulted in Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Javon Holland, and Noah. Could never pronounce that name. He doesn't play enough for me to pronounce the name either. I mean, they Grumpy. I mean, shit. Hard to say. Hard to say that wasn't just a clear loss for Houston.
Oh, without a doubt, it's a loss for Houston. But the Dolphins could have done so much better. And they do have next year's first round pick. They have 2 firsts next year and 2 seconds, I believe, Miami next year. So you would have thought this trade would have decimated them. Nope.
No, I'm about to say that's why Miami has. I mean, how much realistically, if they were to trade for Tom Brady, you think they would have to give up?
If you give up Tua, maybe Tua and a second round pick.
I was about to say, I don't think you have to give up much. Tom Brady's got maybe 1-2 years left. He's a significant upgrade over Tua. And I still think they need to do more to add. Again, whether they trade for Brady or not, offensive line is still one of the positions of need there for Miami. I know they've selected offensive linemen like your Austin Jacksons. They've selected offensive line. Hasn't necessarily come to fruition just quite yet for them.
Yeah, I think they'll take offensive line in the first round of this year's draft. That's the one weakness. And Armstead helps with that, but that's really the one weakness on the offense right now. Their defense is pretty good. That's what they were winning games with defense last year. But I think they could use an offensive guard. So maybe a Zion Johnson would be somebody that, they'd be looking at.
Just to go, I tell you, man, guards don't get picked early like that. That's all I'm going to say.
You'll see.
Zion Johnson from Boston College.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to watch some film. Guards don't usually get picked in the teens.
Okay. I'm just saying that's a bit. It doesn't matter. I mean, Daniel Jones should have been picked at number 7, and he was. But if that's the need on your team, that kid's good. He's a lunch pail kid. He comes to play every single down.
I'll have to watch film before I make any statements on.
Okay,
that's all I'm gonna say. But the Chiefs
have some time.
But the Chiefs do have the most cap space available. I did find that interesting, and it makes me wonder what the Chiefs are looking to do with that cap space. And they're certainly not going to sit on their hands, right? They're going to be another team that's up against a cap ceiling, just like every other team that tries to compete. But I look and I say, okay, here are the Panthers, here are the Eagles, here are the Saints. A lot of these teams, the NFC is just so weak. Now, the funny item was too that apparently a few days ago, Tyreek Hill was saying it's between the Jets or the Dolphins. They didn't know where he was going. And apparently he always knew he was going to Miami. He was never going to take a trade to the Jets.
Well,
I feel like they're one of the big losers. They at least had their hopes up that maybe they can get a guy like Tyreek Hill, and wow, didn't happen.
Well, that was something I also wanted to mention where, teams before just trade you wherever they wanted to. Now they're letting the players pick the teams that they want to go to. It's like the NBA. It's like European soccer. The players go where they want. And that is something new to the NFL. I don't think that it's going to be as advantageous to the NFL teams for that because they're just different sports. Basketball, individual play is paramount, right? Three really good individuals on a team can lead you to a championship. In world soccer, yes, there are 11 on a side and you have to work as a team, but individual talent, particularly in a game that's very low scoring, could make all the difference in the world. In the NFL, those units need to run like clockwork to score and to stop. It's just different.
Well, couldn't you just say that's the way sports are headed? Soccer's been doing it for forever with the transfer window. The NBA now does it, and now the NFL's doing it. Just looks like that's the way sports are moving.
Right. I just think that the rewards, what we're going to find out is that perhaps the rewards aren't as great as you thought. Like Tyreek Hill, is he really a fit with what Miami does? Maybe. But let's say they run a different type of offense than he's used to, or the same thing with Oakland and Devontae Adams. It's a different type of offense. Does his skill set fit that offense? I mean, we're going to find out. I just think it's a little bit different in football because everything is so scheme specific.
Absolutely. And then Alexander saying no to Brady. I'm fired up about the Dolphins, but not Brady.
I don't understand that at all. If you want to win a Super Bowl, that's your best way.
I'd say so too. Yikes.
Tell me he doesn't come in there and up the level of professionalism 50% on that team. I don't think it's going to happen. I have heard the rumor, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, Tampa Bay is signing guys, old New England players to come and trading for old New England players. So I just don't see that happening. They're going to have one more kick of the can in Tampa to see if they can win a Super Bowl.
Let me ask you this. What do you put the likelihood that Tom Brady's on the move? If you were forced to today put a likelihood out of 100%, how likely would you think that Tom Brady is going to be moved to the Miami Dolphins?
25%. Here's what I think. He's not going to restructure his deal in Tampa, and then he's free to go wherever he wants. If Tua does not perform this year, you'll see Brady slide over and sign as a free agent to Miami. That was part of the plan in the offseason. That's what Stephen Ross wanted to do.
Okay, let me ask you this. Why do you think Tom Brady's going to continue to play football at 46? He'll be 46 next year. What is he playing until he's 50, 60, 70 years old? Grumpy, he's eventually going to stop. Come on.
He's the best quarterback in the league. He was the best quarterback in the league last year. That's why. His arm strength hasn't diminished at all. Not at all. He's still got one of the better arms in the league. Okay, Mahomes has a better arm. Maybe Rodgers. Herbert. He's right up there. He's like top 5, top 6 in arm strength. And here's the thing. He's got the best touch out of anybody in the league. And he knows how to run a team.
Alexander also saying, and they're getting close to signing Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger.
I don't know. I've never been a fan of his. I know a lot of people like him. I know he makes plays sometimes, but I don't know.
The Wicker Man saying Scantling Jr. drops everything. They've got Adams, or they gave Adams the same money, but I think he didn't want to play with Rodgers. He played with Carr in college.
I don't think they had the money. Once they signed Rodgers to that ridiculous deal, they could not afford to pay Adams as well because now they have money, but they were really in cap jail prior to that. So, but Rodgers knew. Rodgers didn't even care as long as he got his. That's what Rodgers is all about.
They've got $17.8 million.
Well, he signed for 28. He signed for 28.
I know. I got you. Good.
And they still have to sign somebody back to play wide receiver. Lazard's the only wide receiver they have right now.
Joseph C. says the AFC is loaded. Brady's best path to the Super Bowl is staying in the NFC. I agree with this, Joseph. When you said it'll be good for him to go to play with Miami, wouldn't it be good? I don't know. For him, his chance of winning, stay in the NFC, let the teams in the AFC beat the living hell out of each other in the playoffs and all regular season.
I mean, as a storyline, moving to the AFC. I mean, would anybody watch Fox TV for the NFC games? No. Everyone's going to be watching CBS and the American Football Conference. I mean, talk about court. I mean, that the AFC is loaded with quarterbacks. Everyone's loaded up in the West. Look at we touched on Indianapolis, right? Indianapolis was a really good team with a really bad quarterback last year. Matt Ryan could be a guy who puts them over the top. They can run the ball.
Matt
His
Ryan
arm
is
isn't
so
shot.
Matt Ryan is so freaking finished. He's so finished.
Okay, we'll see. We'll
And
see.
this is the third year, another quarterback there for Indy, right? They originally had signed Philip Rivers.
5 years in a row. 5 years in a row, new quarterback. Starting with Luck. Luck, and then four starting quarterbacks: Brissett, Rivers, Wentz,
Yeah.
and now Ryan.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha. I'm just saying, right? Brissett, he was originally a part of the team, though, correct?
Wasn't starting quarterback.
Okay. It was a new quarterback, but he was still part of the team. He was still familiar, but this is the third year in a row now they've gone from outside the team. Somebody has no familiarity with the offense, no familiarity with the team, and gone ahead and either signed or traded for. And again, Philip Rivers, who I thought was finished his last year in I think it was the San Diego Chargers at the time, and he went to the Colts, and I mean, he's strung together a pretty decent season. I mean, Carson Wentz was yikes bad, and now Matt Ryan. I don't think much of Matt Ryan at this stage of his career, but they seem to just always be saying, "Hey, the last 2 years they've traded for quarterbacks there, and seeing how it works out. One day, eventually, Indianapolis is going to have to try to find a permanent quarterback instead of just trying to put this little Band-Aid on the team."
Would you not say he's 25% better than Carson Wentz?
Sure, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. I've seen Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan look like and again, it's tough, right? Because the Atlanta Falcons are a miserable team. They
Yeah.
have no running back play. They had, I mean, the wide receivers were just miserable last year when you look at the crew he had to work with. So I don't think Matt Ryan looked great, but he didn't have a lot of weapons. So and he's also a lot older.
36.
Okay. He's older.
Well, I mean, I just think it's a good pickup for them. Better than Baker Mayfield. Matt Ryan is a former league MVP.
When did he win league MVP?
2016.
6 years ago. It's funny that we're talking about 2016 and 6 years ago. Don't forget that year, guys, because we're going to bring that back up once again later on in the podcast. Goat Water Shorts says here, "Hey, Josh Bailey." Da-da, da-da. Tony Case is saying, "I'm glad the Jets didn't get Hill. Too much money, and I guarantee that on the Jets he wouldn't be used correctly."
Very possible. But what do you have to like about the Jets? They have a young quarterback on a rookie deal, and they're trying to load up before he needs a second contract. And you got to pay him, because once your veteran quarterback starts getting paid, it means you have to have lesser players and lesser talent around him, because he just gets paid too much money. It's quarterback league.
He says, "What do you know? You scored a goal." He says, I think that's how it goes. That would actually be more, it would be more endearing, I think, to Josh Bailey. But it goes, "Hey, Josh Bailey, I want to know, did you score a goal?" It was more meant to say he wasn't scoring goals, but Goat Water Shorts here, he puts it in a better light. Joseph C says, Tyreek had that choice between the Dolphins and the Jets. Zach Wilson is more raw, but he's got a much better arm than Tua. He's more mobile also. Tyreek should have went to the Jets.
Remember, $30 million spends a whole lot more in Florida than it does in New York. There's no state income tax. So you're not getting pounded with taxes like you are up in New York or California or Illinois. Certain states have really high tax rates. Go figure.
Well, I'll tell you this. I mean, the Jets have quite a few picks too. And here's the thing. What do you think the Jets were willing to give up to get a guy like Tyreek Hill? It makes me wonder if
their first round picks were not on the table.
That's what I was asking. I wondered, they probably would have to give up a first round or some sort of draft capital next year. I'm sure the deal would have looked a lot different, because Miami was able to say, here, take our picks this year, take the 29th, take our second round pick, take the second round pick. They had a lot more flexibility because they had a lot more picks. And I'm like, the Jets, right? If I'm putting the likelihood that the Jets have an earlier pick in the 2023 draft, I'd say it's a much higher chance than the Miami Dolphins would have had. So, I mean, I think for the Jets, you'd be possibly taking a little bit of a gamble that you could have given up a good pick, depending if a first round pick had to be involved for Tyreek Hill, which I assume it did.
I think the Jets have 3 picks in the top 35 this year, something like that. They got 4 and 10, and that was not part of the deal. First round picks were not part of the deal.
Mm.
Miami said, okay, we'll include a first, but it's going to be number 29, which is almost a second round pick. You do get the 5th-year option element to go in there, but it was only 32 teams in the league. There was no way the Jets were going to give up 4 or 10, and certainly not next year's, because you never know how anything's going to turn out. But they did offer a second round pick, though.
Goatwater Short says here, Pitts is good. So now once he gets better in the red zone, I think it'll look like a slam dunk pick. I'm just talking about the success of the franchise. Tight ends are nice to have. Tight ends don't win you games. The most important position is QB.
True. But here's the thing. Pitts is obviously the number one weapon there in Atlanta now, right? Who else do you have? So he's going to get doubled every single time he goes out for a pass route, every time. And he's not really even a tight end. He's like Aaron Hernandez used to be. Not really an interior blocker, but a guy you just, off the end of the line, you send him out.
He's I think a less physically imposing Vernon Davis. He's a less talented blocker. Vernon Davis used to be able to block too pretty well.
Yeah.
I don't look at Kyle Pitts as a fantastic blocker, but I'm thinking about the pedigree of where he was selected, same spot or similar spot to Vernon Davis, same or similar combine to Vernon Davis, same physical build. But I think the blocking was a little bit better on Vernon Davis's side. That's a name I haven't thought of in a while. Vernon Davis.
I think he's more athletic than Vernon Davis, though. The kid, Pitts is really athletic.
The combine was fantastic for Vernon Davis too. So the Wicker Man says, I think a team should take a chance on Baker Mayfield. I was about to say, I think for a guy, if the asking price isn't too high, with everything that's been going on, the Colts, I would have much rather taken a role on Baker Mayfield than Matt Ryan. I'm not a Baker Mayfield fan at all. I don't think much of Matt Ryan. You think a lot more of Matt Ryan than I do.
I just think for that team, Matt Ryan's a better fit. They're a run-oriented team. He's a pocket passer. It's all about. They don't have a bunch of guys who scramble around all the time back there. What do you mean? What? They're a run-based team with Jonathan Taylor. They're a run-based team. Run first.
Okay, Cleveland was like that too. Cleveland was a run-based team with Nick Chubb.
Cleveland didn't win. Cleveland didn't win though, right?
Okay, I think that you're talking about who's the most talented running back. I think Jonathan Taylor's a more talented back than if we're looking individual talent. I think he's better individually than Kareem Hunt and better individually than Nick Chubb. I think they're both those running backs for the Browns are fantastic backs. But here's another thing you could say: okay, look at who was calling the freaking plays. It's another one of those teams to where the head coach calls the plays. Stefanski calls the plays in Cleveland. So, as much as I want to say, hey, I think that it's a superior step up in talent Deshaun Watson is than Baker Mayfield, but I'm never a big fan of head coaches calling the plays. What does it need? What does it lead the offensive coordinator to do? Absolutely nothing.
I don't know. Ask Mike McDaniel.
Anyway, I'll tell you.
I guess Tyreek Hill's going to find out pretty quick what he does.
Jeremy, I'll tell you one thing. Mike McDaniel, I'll tell you, he's got to be pretty happy with the moves the general manager is putting around him and the pieces that he's putting around him. I think you're really setting up that team to be successful depending on what they do here coming up. They seem serious. They seem like, hey, I'm ready to win. We're ready to be successful. And as a Miami fan, I know as Alexander and other listeners of the show are, you got to be excited.
And if you bring in Tom Brady, he can just run the offense.
Anyway, Jeremy Ford said the Saints sound like the Islanders, or was that already referenced last year in the playoffs by Boston's coach?
Very good, Jeremy.
When the Saints go marching in. When the Saints
go marching in.
There it is.
The Saints go marching in.
Oh, absolutely. And I forgot to show this one here. Jeremy Ford said, thanks. Glad I could bring a smile to your face. Safe travels on your trip there, TJ. Scotland is beautiful. Thank you, Jeremy. I will make sure to be safe. Thank you for the well wishes.
And I get some time off for a change. That's the big upside.
There it is. You finally get a few days off, evenings off. Alexander says, hope you guys are doing great. Absolutely we are. And check out the Tua video I sent. Also, Arthur Blank and Count.
Yep. Count Chocula. I'll bet you Alexander's, they will put them side by side where, you did whatever it is you did, which was good.
I have a chance to go ahead and to split an image there to put it side by side and upload it to myself as I'm handling everything else on the podcast regarding the tech side, Grump. We're like one person doing this, Grump.
Like I said, not that I was ripping what you did, but I'm just saying I bet Alexander did it better. That's
Joseph C said, ironic because blank looks like Vincent Prince too. Count Chocula and Dracula. Who's Who's Vincent Prince?
It's Vincent Price.
Price.
He was in like the late 50s and the 1960s. He was on like every horror film. He had
Oh God.
have you ever heard the movie Thriller? I mean the music Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I've heard the music. I know Michael Jackson.
Do you know the beginning where you hear the voice, like do a little voiceover that he starts talking, or right at the end? That's Vincent Price's voice. It's a very distinctive voice, and he's known with horror films.
Huh. Well, I learned something today. Nick
What else is
said,
new?
DJ Grump, what is up? I can't believe my passions will miss or my what is that, Grump? The Italian team. We're going to talk about that.
Italy got knocked off by North Macedonia.
Forza Azzurri. I'm so upset about that. 16 corners, not one win. Embarrassing. Now, here's the thing. We'll jump ahead. I did have this. You got to feel now. This, I tell you, when you look at this, Northern Macedonia, they scored in the 92nd minutes, and I've got the play, Grumpy. Did you happen to see how they scored?
I've not seen it. I'm going to watch it tonight. I've not seen it, but I mean, I can't believe they lost. I can't. I guess Portugal's going to get in.
Well, yeah, Portugal has to play North Macedonia. So, and the funny thing is,
they will beat North Macedonia.
The funny thing is, Grump, I watched North Macedonia played one of the World Cup qualifying games a long time ago, and it was funny. I didn't watch a lot of the games, the qualifying games that North Macedonia was one of the teams playing, and they talked about how to get to the qualifying that they were in. It was like the first time the team had done that, and it was something like 50 or 40 years, something crazy like that. And the fact that they've made it to this point is extremely successful for them, and they knocked off Italy. So I'll let you take a look at this. My God, you want to talk about disappointing for Italy?
Who won the last World Cup? Was it Germany?
No.
Who won the last World Cup?
Oh my God!
And Italy must have won the Euro Championships.
Yes, they won.
Okay.
Holy shit, yes, Grump.
All right, calm down.
Come on, Grumpy.
All right. Well, you don't even know who won the World Cup.
Won the World Cup. Okay, I know it wasn't freaking Germany.
Okay, France won it.
France won it. God damn it, Grumpy. That's right. You kept saying Germany. Germany won in 2014, and then they got knocked out in 2018 in the early rounds. My God, Grumpy, you're killing me. You're killing me. I didn't know why, but man, you said Germany.
Fat boy in net.
What's worse? Is it the right back here who sits and stands? Is it the form? Like, look at this freaking. Look at the structure.
Chiellini is just way out of position.
Well, no, they don't run with three backs, Grumpy. There's supposed to be another center back right here, and that's this fellow right here.
Maybe Bonucci's too far up.
It's exactly what it is. And here's like the right back. What's worse, the right back just sitting and not doing shit when he has nobody, and I mean nobody on his outside.
Wow.
Holy shit. I mean, look how deep that shot is. It's not even like it's a freaking, it's not even like it's a fantastic, it's a good strike. That's when your goalie needs to, I mean, come on. I assume that's Gigi Donnarumma in that,
Fat
no?
boy. It's got to be Fat Boy in the net. He can't get across too fat.
Christ almighty. How, wow, Jesus, Donnarumma.
What a crusher. I don't know where this game was held.
It's full, so I can tell you one thing. It wasn't Macedonia.
Oh, my gosh, from there.
Oh, my God.
And it bounces, too. It's like, oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. Just missed it.
I'll let you watch the celebration. It's yeah, my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
That's even worse. It's a home. Like it's a home game. Look at the Italian flag. My dumbass didn't even see it right there. Holy shit.
I mean, that's like one of the biggest upsets in World Cup qualifying history.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is. Here's the thing. They're not beating Portugal. Ronaldo will not lose to North Macedonia. I guarantee that. I mean, and here's the thing about that goal, man, Italy is always so buttoned up defensively. You never see them give up chances like that. Against a team like this, maybe they just fell asleep. I wonder if it was the first shot on goal the whole game. To let you know, I'm going to games.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure I will too. I don't think they have exactly where it will be laid out each game, but man, oh man, I'm gonna find a way to get to a few of them. My God.
Look at this. Oh my God.
I'm just like, what the
they were ball watching. Oh my gosh. Just a little bit of space, and I'm sorry.
What the?
Donnaruma's
What is
gotta
the
be
left back doing too? Can we talk? Okay, that's one thing. I didn't roast the shit out of the left back either. I'm not saying you march up. Macedonia. When I watched Macedonia in the qualifier plenty of times ago to even qualify for the World Cup, they always just sat back, sit back, sit back, sit back, sit back. It was like 10 guys in the box, one guy forward. It was literally sit everybody back. I mean, you could have. Oh, Jesus.
I mean, you cannot get beat from there. He's even leaning the way the shot is going, and he still couldn't get to it. I mean, that's not a bullet, top corner. I mean, that's just terrible. I mean, and think about it. Some of the great Italian players like Chiellini, like Bonucci, that's it. They're never going to be in another World Cup. That's it. They're all like mid-30s. They're not going to be playing next time the World Cup is held in 2026. Not going to happen.
Hell no. Look at Chiellini too. Looking at him, he's
He's
probably
like,
what the
my
hell?
God.
You like how Donnarumma's like, oh, what's going on here? Donnarumma, make the save.
Chiellini's looking at me, you fat bastard.
Make the damn save. Make the save, you bastard. Yeah.
Which failure do you think was worse? Losing to Real Madrid after being up 2-0 with 30 minutes to go and giving the ball away to Benzema, or losing to North Macedonia? What's worse?
North Macedonia.
Yes, absolutely. You can't lose to a team that's like the bottom of the world rankings.
And just to show you, right? They have not, and think about it. Italy didn't qualify, as you mentioned, for 2018 World Cup. The last time they were in the World Cup was 2014.
Yeah.
Wow. Think about this. The last knockout game they had in the World Cup, just for a little extra salt in the wound, was 2006. So they hadn't even made it out of the group stage.
Yeah.
In the last, what now? Like the last
16 years.
16 years?
Yeah.
Yikes. Well, it's going to be more than that because you add the next 4 years on top of it.
Well,
No. Years. Well, okay, you're not going to be in the World Cup this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be at least the last 20 years until you have even a chance to make it out of the group stage.
Yep.
So,
and they're usually so good defensively.
They're fantastic. I mean, you look at the nation; they produce fantastic soccer players. Always. I'm sorry, we jumped ahead on that one, but I wanted to show it just because the comment was there, Nick. We feel for you. Jeremy F. also saying things we have and will learn in the last 20 games of the season is Nelson and Lee stay together.
That's how long have I been saying that? How long? For how many years?
Yep.
And you can even throw Bailey. Maybe they don't think Bailey's that good. Maybe he's a third line player now. That's fine. If Villiers has to be there, that's fine. But yes, Lee's style is more fitting with Nelson and a creative wing because Nelson's not a creator, but the pace of play is slower when they're out there. He was never a fit for Matt Barzal.
Yep. Got a comment here from John M saying, I'm loving what the Dolphins are doing. Wishing the Islanders had the same thought process.
You're preaching to the choir, brother.
Joseph C says here, the teams are just waiting for the Browns to release Mayfield. Somebody will sign him at that point. No reason to trade for him now.
He's still under contract under his rookie deal this year, so they're not going to release him.
I think they would keep him.
Here's the thing. Let's say Deshaun Watson gets suspended for 6 games because, the NFL likes, they like to be so proactive on stuff like that. So let's say they suspend him for 6 games. Who's going to be your quarterback? If you have Baker Mayfield, he can. Now, it'll be a problem after that.
It'll be a problem. It will be one of those talking points that never go away, and those are not good for teams. Teams do not like when they have a whole bunch of media and press that are consistently bugging players with questions. They don't like that. They don't like storylines that aren't positive all over the place. And, oh, Baker, what are you going to do? I know you're a quarterback here for right now, but what's going to happen when Deshaun Watson can come back and play? That type of shit is not good for teams to deal with.
True.
Alexander saying, nope, Will Fuller is a free agent. Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
He's always hurt, too. He's another guy who's always hurt.
Yeah. And whoa, Nelly, what a beautiful goal. Nice pass with Anders Lee and Bavillier. Wow.
Bavillier scored 9 seconds into the game today.
Did you see the penalty that Anders Lee committed on that? Holy shit. Well, since technically this is a general sports podcast, I'll pull it up too. But you want to talk about an absolute shit show of officiating? The only reason I did not make this I did not make this post on the Islanders page because I know so many fans are going to be shitting all. Oh, we should be rooting for the Islanders. You can't go ahead and point out something that they've done poorly. It was bad, Grumpy. Bad. Let me see here. Saw them spitting chicklets. I was just like, yikes. Spitting chicklets here. I'm going to ask you if you think there's a penalty on this play. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
And I promise you, Andersley is going to get praise. Oh, he's fantastic. Andersley did a great job on this one. I'll ask you to put your unbiased opinion on and your unbiased vision on glasses and tell me if you think there was some sort of infraction, because this is a goal that occurred 9 seconds into that game.
And that's a slash? Isn't that a slash? I thought you're not allowed to do that. That looked like slash to me.
He slashes Hornick so hard that it slashes the stick out of his hand. First off, again, like, they're fighting for the puck. They're fighting for position, battling for it, whatever. Okay, he's kind of losing position. Okay, he was able to recover. Gets back on the puck. That's a two-handed slash right on the stick. Boop. Knocks his stick right out of the hands. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the quintessential version of a slash.
Yeah, it is. In today's NHL, it absolutely is.
And it goes from automatic. It goes from it should be a power play for the Detroit Red Wings to a goal for the Islanders. Christ Almighty! But here's the thing, too. I mean, who the hell is standing in front of the net?
Is that Nick Leddy?
unaware of Anthony Beauvillier coming in.
Josh Bailey?
No, is that Cedar?
I don't know who it is, but he didn't move.
Oh, it's Stahl. Holy shit! It's Mark Stahl.
Yeah, he can't.
Mark Stahl. Jesus Christ! I don't know what's worse: the non-slash caller, Mark Stahl not paying attention to who's coming in.
Let's just say they're both up there. We'll just put it to you that way.
Absolutely, yeah. So a goal right off the bat. Javon Holland is a future star, and they've got San Fran's first-round pick. Grumpy Man, his arm is what I'm worried about. Tom Brady's arm is what I'm worried about.
Alexander.
Howard Jones, the Honey Badger, Holland, and Brandon Jones. That secondary will be sick.
Let's wait and see.
Joseph C. said, the Jets had a good offseason so far, but it's not about the next year for them anyways. It's about continually develop Zach Wilson. I wouldn't have traded 5 picks for Hill, as good as he is.
You have to be what you feel is really close to make a deal like that. Like I said, if Tua stays, he's got no excuse. If they fail to make the playoffs this year, he's gone as quarterback. That much I can tell you. You're going to find out everything you need to know about Tua Tagovailoa this year. Everything.
Alexander says Zach Wilson has a better arm than Tua. Now that's funny. I'm sorry. He's got a better. He's got a better arm. He's got a stronger arm. When I say better arm, stronger arm is what they mean. He's got a
Alexander. Come on now. Noodles. That's the weakest part of his game is his arm.
Could you imagine Tua playing in freaking New York?
Oh my gosh, he could never play up there.
Windy weather like that. Holy shit!
No
way.
No. Looked like Chad Pennington. Looked like Chad Pennington at the end.
Chad Pennington after his 3rd or 4th shoulder surgery. Hill said he was always going to Miami. I didn't think you'd be on today. Yes, we are. Last one before I leave. And then Frank saying, "Hi guys, watch the game on tape delay." Grump, your boy Andersley and Nelson dominated, baby. Hey,
good. That's what they're supposed to do. I just found it. It's so funny. I read an article today, something was released by Kevin Kurtz, where, Anders Lee said, yeah, towards the end, we really turned it on because we wanted to keep this group together. Isn't that exactly what I was saying? I'm so glad when Anders actually validates what I felt the whole time. It wasn't some knee injury or some ridiculous bullshit like that. They wanted to bring the band back together. So all of a sudden, after 50 games, they picked it up 2 or 3 weeks before the deadline. Okay, good.
Well, we'll keep monitoring that over the remaining 20 games. Drew L says, by the way, I don't know if you guys watch the Islanders game, but if you see the bullshit or the BS of Varlamov and Sorokin tribute that happened after the first period, I swear Lou's trying to push a narrative. Grumpy, I was about to say, you'll have to tell me what you think of that.
I did DVR it. I didn't watch the whole thing.
Portugal won, baby. Yes, they did. I can't remember who they played. I did see Portugal won, but now they're
playing Turkey today.
Yeah, they play Turkey, and then they play North Macedonia here coming up.
And the winner of that game goes to the World Cup.
Yes. I'm watching the end of the game, but I thought the same, Drew. Talking about the little tribute they did to Sorokin and Varlamov. Oof. Portugal shocked Italy, lost. Yeah.
Stunning.
I listened to a Giants podcast earlier today. They think that Tyrod Taylor will be the Giants starting quarterback. No way.
Yikes. It'll be Daniel Jones. They brought Taylor in to be the backup, and if something goes horribly wrong with Jones, he'll fill in. He's the quintessential veteran guy that you bring in to kind of help the younger player now. That's what he's always been.
Frank saying, TJ, you see in Manchester City on your honeymoon, 6 Portuguese players on that team, by the way. And well, yes, I am seeing I'm seeing Burnley play Manchester City. Hopefully there's a lot after that game. There's a lot of week or 2 week long injuries after their game that they play against North Macedonia. I hope North Macedonia goes ahead and gives a whole bunch of dead legs out, and you see a whole bunch of calf pulls on the Portuguese team minus Cristiano, because I want to see my Burnley Clarets take it to the Manchester City squad.
They could put the whole B squad up there. It wouldn't matter.
No, we would beat the B squad. Come on.
I don't know about that.
Did you hope you enjoy yourself and safe travels, my friends? Thank you, Alexander. Big thank you. I tell you. And Drew L said, I'm not gonna lie, Duke looked shaky at the start of this game, but after the first time out, now all of a sudden they've recovered quickly. Ooh, that's a game I can't wait to watch tonight.
Yeah.
Ginger Man Grumpy. Oh, it's cool you like football. Oh yeah, we love it. But Italy hasn't been itself lately. Portugal almost blew it. Not sweating bullets on the penalty. Oh, I was sweating bullets on a penalty shootout for Turkey. Oh, it went to penalty shootout with Turkey.
On a penalty shot for Turkey.
Oh, I'm sorry. Penalty shootout.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Italy won the Euros 2 years ago. They won the Euro. Last summer it was, right?
Last year. Yep.
I mean, they won it. I thought they played really well. I thought maybe they're on the way back. This was just surprising to me. I never thought they'd lose to North Macedonia.
Alexander saying, I'm with you, John. The Islanders and the Dolphins are going on 2 different paths.
True.
Yeah. My goodness gracious. I can't see the Browns keeping Baker Mayfield with all the complaining that he's doing and how badly he wants out. He would be a huge distraction. That's my thing, too. Teams don't want distractions. They definitely don't want distractions from backup quarterbacks, which is something we're going to be revisiting here in a few moments, as crazy as it may sound. Drew L says, I kind of find Banchero to be a polarized. What?
Bancaro.
That was Banchero.
It's Bancaro. It's his name.
Is that how you pronounce
Bancaro? It's Bancaro. That's how it's pronounced. The guy from Duke. Go ahead.
Yeah, the fantastic prospect from Duke. Yeah, Banchero. To be a polarizing prospect. He's got all the potential in the world, but seems to lack some skill and the firepower as the X factor to his game.
He's 6'10", 250. And that's the way you have to look at it. Yeah, he's really good. He plays like a small forward. For me, he needs to develop a little toughness in his game. He needs to be more aggressive going to the hole. He's good. I just don't know if he has that killer instinct. I think that's what's going to hold him back. Can he become a killer at the next level?
Frank saying here, Andersley and Nelson are great, but you guys got to stop blaming them, Lou, for not developing the young guns and compliment them. Here's the thing. I think Brock Nelson is good. I don't think all that much of Andersley. I think Andersley fights. He's a really good garbage man. That's about it. And hell, even that slash that he had in the offensive zone, that was at least an effort play, given he committed an infraction, but I saw the effort there. I didn't see any of that earlier on in the year, but I always like Brock Nelson. I know Grumpy doesn't like him. I like Brock Nelson.
I didn't say I don't like him. I just think that Islander fans overrate him. That's all I said.
And the Browns will cut him for sure. People thought R.J. Barrett was one. I think Banchero is more of a one.
I don't know. No. I think Zion was better than Barrett. Barrett was a freaking ball hog, though. That's why they lost in 2019, because Barrett wouldn't give the ball up to Williamson down the stretch. That's why they lost to Michigan State. The best player had to have the ball the last 2 minutes, and it was Barrett 0 for 3 because he had to play hero ball. I always had a problem with that.
Alexander says, how about Wallstrom's penalty? Terrible. I didn't see the penalty. I didn't watch. I did see he scored a goal, but I had to pause it after. I only saw like a little 9-second clip, and I just been keeping up with a little bit here and there, but I hadn't watched the game yet. And Barzal, like they've got some serious problem. Also, Wallstrom
serious
and
chemistry
play like they've got some serious chemistry. They're good as a pairing. Just have to replace Parise with another sniper. I don't think we're doing anything. Speaking of the Islanders, Cal Clutterbuck out for was he the rest of the season or 3 to 4 weeks?
Rest of the
He's out for the
season.
rest of the season, and Scott Mayfield
4 to
out for
6.
4 to 6, so essentially the rest of the year. Wouldn't it have been crazy if you traded away Cal Clutterbuck a week before the deadline or a few days before the deadline, and you could have gone ahead and got rid of him?
Yeah. You get yourself a 3rd-round pick for somebody who's not going to play and just sign them back. You mean you have a gentleman's agreement? Yeah, we'll bring you back.
Well, we have no idea if he would have got injured again playing for the other team, but still, like, okay. I don't want to get started on it. Tua does have a weak arm, says Frank. Loving that Parise and Barzy and Wallstrom line. It's going to be great. Christopher C said the Tyreek Hill situation made me upset. And furthermore, what the hell does state tax have to do with anything when it comes to the quality of the team is what matters the most.
No, sorry, Christopher. These guys, and I don't blame them, okay? He already has a Super Bowl ring. He needs to make as much money now. This is his last big contract. He's not going to get $30 million a year after 3 years. How old is he? Like 28? Something like that?
27, 28, around that age.
When he loses his speed, that's it for him. It's not like he's a great route runner. I mean, it's all about pure speed for him. And he's there to make the money, right? Here's the thing. If you could sign for a $30 million a year contract and you take home 75% of that, as opposed to signing for a $30 million a year contract, get 60%, which one are you going to take? I mean,
well, I can promise you they take home a lot less than that based off the way the tax brackets are.
I'm just throwing ballparks with no state income tax down in Florida and New York. The difference is huge.
Yes, Alexander, I'll take you up on that. I'll have to take you up on it when I'm back from Scotland, or maybe I'll be on a weird time. Drill says here with the Tyreek Hill trade, besides Kelsey, who are the Chiefs going to be throwing to? They must be drafting a wide receiver in the draft. Yep, for certain. And I think I think Juju Smith-Schuster, they're probably riding that he's going to be successful this year with them. And they brought in a little bit of a safe option, a guy who could be a 3 for Valdez-Scantling.
Well, he's going to be the number 1, is he not? You're not going to count as a rookie to be the number 1 receiver, are you?
Juju is, but Valdez-Scantling is a 3.
Juju's not a number 1. He's not a number 1 anymore. I mean, and they all have to learn the system.
When healthy, he is. Okay, dude, wideouts, it's not tough for wideouts to learn the system.
Okay.
Wide receivers are really freaking easy. It's all reads.
Okay.
All reads. That doesn't change. Quarterback's a little different. Quarterbacks are supposed to be the smart ones on the field, though. So, I don't worry too much about that. I mean, quarterbacks are supposed to be the smartest guys. I didn't want Tyreek Hill too much money. We've got Elijah Moore and Barrios. We need a big guy. We need to draft London.
Man, I don't know about him. The guy from USC. I'm just leery about big, slow wide receiver. Guys don't get a whole lot of separation because he does have pretty good pace, but he has trouble separating. I mean, in the NFL, it's about getting separation. You can't have guys glued to you all the time. Yes, he's pretty good in contesting catches. I'm not picking a guy like that in the top 10. Moore can get open, and Barrios can get open also. But, I mean, I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of those big, lumbery wide receivers.
Biggest thing is, hey, can we have Mekhi Becton stay healthy? That's a big thing for them too. Alexander says, Grump, I'm getting you a Dolphins jersey. What size are you?
Is it going to be a 12 Brady on the back? That's what I want to
know. I'm not going to lie. Happy the Jets didn't get Hill because consider drafting Elijah Moore in fantasy this upcoming year. Oh, man. But garbage men are important, says Frank. Yes, they are. Garbage men are important.
It's true because the neighborhood smells. The people get all aggravated. So you do need garbage men. That's true.
Yeah.
I have Elijah Moore on my dynasty team in fantasy.
Elijah Moore will explode this year. Mark my words. Alexander says, guys, say what you want about Tua, but the way Mayfield handled the Watson thing was horrible and folded up like a bitch, unlike Tua, who handled it like a man and with class.
What has he had to handle?
Here's the thing. I think Tua is a higher character kid. A lot of the people from Hawaii out there are much more, soft-spoken, much more, at least from what I've noticed in the interviews I've seen of Tua. Maybe he would handle something like that better. Look at how Marcus Mariota handled it too. They're kind of cut from the same cloth. I hate to be overly general on that, but I am. But I wouldn't be happy if I lost my starting job. But here's the thing: Baker blows. Awful. Blow pop emoji. Baker Mayfield. How do you go? Blow pop emoji, Grumpy. Blow pop emoji, Grump. There you go.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, he was handed the job.
Drew L. I am not a fan of Matt Ryan.
I don't think he's gonna win league MVP, but they're gonna be much better with him at quarterback than they were the last couple of years.
We call him laughing faces. Christopher C saying, as a Jets fan, hell no. I don't want Brady in the AFC East. We've dealt with him enough already. I want to watch some fun football, not the show off who wants attention. Tom Brady, Grumpy.
Yeah, I know he's a show off. He's at the last game every year. He's holding up this trophy all the time. League, MVP of the Super Bowl champion. He is a show off. That's the type of attention he craves, and he seems to get it more often than not.
Jewel said also Michael Pittman is expecting to be a Pro Bowler as well this year. Let's be real. Juju Smith-Schuster signed with Kansas City to make TikToks with Jackson Mahomes. That's right, Grumpy. They're both TikTok guys.
There's a fit.
Oh, yeah, we can't stand Jackson Mahomes either. And I hope, TJ Grumpy, man, you go back and watch the honor games. The young guys did well. They played well. And I thought Aho looked great. He'll develop well with Mayfield out.
I think, I like Sebastian Aho. He helps them move the puck, which is what the NHL is now. Is he a great defender? No, he's not, because he's not physically capable. He's just a little too small. You can learn how to play defense, though. You can't teach a guy how to be offensive. You can't do it.
We do have an ad today to read from DraftKings. The NHL season has been packed with dirty dangles, hat tricks, and big wins. As the action rolls on, DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has your shot to win big, too. New customers can bet just $1 on any team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's right. A bump in the win column for your team means free bets for you. If Sportsbook isn't available in your state yet, you still have a shot to light the lamp, and everyone can play for huge cash prizes with DraftKings Daily Fantasy Hockey Contest. DraftKings is giving all new customers a free shot at millions, and I mean millions of dollars of total prizes with their first deposit. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the promo code THPN and bet just $1 on any NHL team and get $150 in free bets if they win. That's promo code THPN at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. Must be 21 years or older. Restrictions apply. See the show notes for additional details.
Nice job, TJ.
I try. And Alexander said he handled the Deshaun Watson rumors well.
I think the thing that really pissed Mayfield off is when the management of the team said they wanted an adult at quarterback. It's like, ooh, you kind of say that, that's it. And he just said, that's fine. I mean, he wanted to go and the writing was on the wall. That's fine. If you don't want him, move on. He'll play somewhere for someone. That much I do know. Wouldn't you rather have Baker Mayfield than Daniel Jones?
Yes.
Or Jimmy Garoppolo?
That's not saying much. I think Daniel Jones is like, we go to the tiers of the quarterbacks, top tier, middle tier, bottom tier. Daniel Jones is a bottom tier quarterback. He blows. Yeah. Daniel Jones, blow pop emoji.
Don't try to steal my blow pop emoji.
I can't do it as well as you. What can I say, Grump? I can't do the blow pop as well as you can, okay? Oh, good gracious, good gracious. Speaking about quarterbacks and speaking about 2016, you mentioned earlier that Matt Ryan won the league MVP in 2016. That was also when they had that epic collapse against the New England Patriots. Now,
that show off, Brady out there, look at me. Here I am leading a team back from 25 points down with 3 minutes to go in the third quarter and winning a Super Bowl in overtime and winning the MVP and holding up that trophy. It's all about me.
Well, speaking of 2016, there was a quarterback whose last game action, the last time he was on a roster, came in 2016. Colin Kaepernick he worked out today for the Seattle Seahawks. He worked out with Aaron Fuller and Kamari Pleasant there, a running back and wide receiver. They worked out, I guess the running back was from the University of Washington. The wide receiver was with the Seahawks there. And this comes recently after he trained with Tyler Lockett. And I want you to listen to this. Now, he's trying to make his comeback into the NFL. I'll let you listen to this, grumpy old man. We'll go ahead and talk a little bit about the Colin Kaepernick situation. Do you think there's a legitimate chance he can make an NFL roster? How legit do you think this is? We'll listen to what his comments are first.
And getting positive responses. Trainers that we've seen, organizations that my agent has talked to, Is that look good? My arm's still alive, still ready to go. So again, more than anything, we're just looking for that opportunity to come in, get some work in, and show them what I can do. And more than anything is we want that opportunity to showcase where I'm at and let decisions be made from there. Not yet. Still waiting for that chance. Still hopeful. So, there's been a lot of conversation around it. Again, we've had conversations with Pete and John previously. As Pete mentioned, we've spoken recently, and still hoping that door is open and get a chance to walk through it.
So Colin Kaepernick trying to make his return to the NFL, got himself a little workout today with the Seattle Seahawks, who, I mean, you talk about full-on rebuild. That's full-on rebuild. We've talked about a crazy offseason. Could you imagine a little cherry on top would be Colin Kaepernick returns to the NFL after 6 years, count it, 6 years of being out of the NFL?
He lost his job because he couldn't play. He was a shitty quarterback who cannot read defenses. That's why he lost his job. Too dumb for the position. Could not read defenses. That's why he lost his job. And when other teams figured out how to stop his running game, which was midway through the second year of him as a starter, that was it for him. And I think maybe he's just run out of money. Why else would he come back? He had the opportunity to showcase his talents for NFL teams. They set up a workout in Atlanta, if you remember. And
last year, this was last year. They set up a workout to where over half, I think it was over half, was it 12? Over half the teams in the NFL were going to be present for this workout.
I thought it was 2 years ago. And
okay, I'll pull it up. Yeah.
And the whole thing was he didn't want to do it where the NFL guys had it set up. He wanted to do it some little high school field somewhere. It tells me that he probably couldn't do the job of doing an NFL run practice. He didn't want to because it would have exposed him. Okay, look at those passes he was throwing. Did he hit anybody as they broke open? No. He's throwing 5-yard slants. The guy is coming out of his break. He's sitting there, and then he hits him with the pass. He's not a great quarterback. Good athlete, not a great quarterback. And how old is he now? 33, 34? How bad does Seattle have to be to give him a job? I take Drew Lock over him because he's going to be nothing but a distraction and a problem. I think he needs the money. I think he just needs money. That's why he's doing it.
So now that did happen. You're right. It was 2 years ago. He had the workout set up in Atlanta, Georgia. There were going to be 7, was not 12, wasn't half. 7 teams present. The teams that were going to be present were the Philadelphia Eagles, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Washington Redskins, the New York Jets, the Tennessee Titans, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Detroit Lions. So those were going to be the teams present, and that's what they did, right? He went ahead and he had changed at the last minute and went to a private term public workout, and he live streamed it or something like that, or videoed it where he was on his own turf. He went to a high school. I don't know. Here's the thing. I played, had chances there. The NFL is not a league to where they say, yeah, you do what you want. We're just going to go ahead and whip, we're going to break to your every whim. Unless you're uber talented, they don't do stuff like that. And, it was kind of, hey, we want to give you a chance. We want to see if you could still do what you still has what it takes. And I think the reneging on the workout 2 years ago, yikes, that was bad. But this is a guy who, you're right, hasn't played in 6 years. He hasn't played an NFL down in 6 years. 6. Right. It's not like he's even playing. It's not even like it's like, okay, he's not even like he's playing in the CFL or the AFL. He hasn't played any sort of organized football in 6 years. 6.
He's so desperate. Pete Carroll said that he thought that Kaepernick should get another shot. And he's so desperate now to get a job that he's like, oh, yeah, well, maybe that'll work out. Yeah, because he said I deserve to get a shot. It'll maybe be with Seattle. That wasn't a workout with Seattle, by the way. He wants a workout with Seattle. They're discussing it. They're not going to bring him in. Would you? I would.
Oh, I'm sorry. He worked out today with the Seattle wide receiver. Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I framed that wrong. I made a mistake. He worked out in the past with Tyler Lockett, and then he worked out with Aaron Fuller, which is a Seattle wide receiver. So he's trying to get himself a workout with the Seattle Seahawks. Okay, it makes more sense.
He lost his job in San Francisco. Then he started doing the social justice stuff. And then he figured he made more money doing that. But that's kind of died out now, so I think he needs money.
I'm not sure about the money portion. Here's the thing, right? Teams do not want distractions, good, bad, or indifferent,
Right.
for backup quarterbacks. We've talked about this before, and we went in depth on it, but a team does not want a backup quarterback to where they control everything in the media sphere. They want limited press bugging the players and limited press asking questions to coaches, players, etc. They don't like that. They rather have a few maybe things regarding games. They don't want to have, okay, what did you think about this? Social media. They don't want any of those headaches. They don't want them. And right, wrong, or indifferent, he's going to bring that. So they don't want distractions. And you're looking at a guy who hasn't played in the league in 6 years. I'll ask you this question. Andrew Luck hasn't played since 2018. Do you think that, again, if Andrew Luck said, I'm coming out of retirement, I want to play one more year? I mean, I'm sure teams would jump on him just because
they give him a look.
They give him a look. Exactly. They give him a look. But do you think if Andrew Luck said, oh, I'm going to go ahead and have a private workout, we're going to have 7 teams present, and I'm going to go ahead and change up where the location is. I'm not going to let you dictate the drills. I'm going to do what I want. You could just watch me do the drills that I do in the comfort of my practice. He'd be laughed off the stage and say, thanks so much, Andrew. Just continue your retirement.
They set up the workout specifically for him because
they want to see him do certain things. They want to see, okay, I saw Colin Kaepernick do this well, and this well in the NFL. I want to see if he could still do that. And I want to see some of the weaknesses in some of the areas where he struggled. I want to see, has he improved on those areas, or does it look like he's even worse in those weaknesses than he was prior when he was practicing this craft every single day? I'm going to throw something out here too. Colin Kaepernick in his retirement, or since he's been out of the league for the last 6 years, I'm saying he does not throw the football every single day like he used to when he was probably a professional athlete.
I agree. I mean, the whole thing is they wanted to be an NFL tryout. He didn't want that. He wanted to dictate terms. It's like the flea dictating to the elephant how it has to be done. No, that's not the way it works. There's only 32 of those jobs, or let's say backups. Let's say 70 of those jobs in the whole world, and you're going to dictate to a multi-billion-dollar operation how it's going to be done after you threw them under the bus repeatedly? Dude, they got long memories. I'm sorry. And here's the thing. He lost his job not because of what he said. It's because he wasn't good enough anymore. That's what people keep forgetting. It's not like he was a starting quarterback on a Super Bowl winning team and he was the greatest quarterback that there was and he started talking about social justice. No, he got benched. He wasn't good enough and he knew he wasn't good enough. That's when he started, doing his thing.
I always love how they say this from the live feed. Now, this is telling. Jonathan Jones for CBS Sports said, my takeaways from the live feed. Now, this was, again, the 2 years ago live feed. It was more casual than most pro days. I'm going to let you know something. Pro days are pretty freaking casual. Compared to the NFL Combine, pro days, if you're putting the Combine up of how high-strung everything is, how uniform everything is, it's at the tippity top. Pro days, drops a little bit. I mean, a substantial bit. And you got, if this live stream event was even lower than pro days, it's kind of laid back. That's not what they want. They want to see, okay, that more laid back than pro days. The arm strength was absolutely there. The mobility, solid mobility on the rollouts, timing with wide receiver, understandably not consistently good. And I'm going to say this, as he's a guy who probably hasn't been throwing the football every single day and practicing with wideouts every single day like he did when he was a professional, I'm going to say that probably has diminished even further. So,
and the whole thing is, okay, so you got a strong arm. Can you hit the guy coming out of a break? Because in the bit that I saw, he couldn't do it, or he wouldn't do it. He waited till the guy turned, stopped, looked, froze, and then he threw the ball. Okay, you can throw the ball down the field. Great. Guess what? NFL offenses are not like that anymore. Okay?
I'll take him on my pickup football team, but I'm not sure I'm taking him on my NFL team just because I don't think he's got it. He's not done. I mean, even in his prime, he was not the greatest quarterback in the world. I mean, he was always a low level quarterback. Simple as that.
No. And here's the thing. Does the social justice thing have an effect on him getting other opportunities? Absolutely it does. They don't want that. They don't want that noise in their organization, in that locker room. You want to divide a locker room, bring in a polarizing element like that.
Yeah.
Especially your quarterback. Sorry. Sorry, Kaepernick, you blew it.
Well, he had chances in the past. I mean, when he had the 7 teams that were there to watch him work out and he did the last minute change and switcheroo, that was, for me, that was, you talk about disrespectful to those teams. All those teams had scouts that had traveled to come see you, set up an event, set up a controlled environment.
NFL set up the event for him, and he dissed them. Not just the teams, the NFL.
Yeah. Would have filmed saying, "Hey guys, had a crazy hours, so couldn't catch you guys live. Still your number one fan. Where are you going to, TJ? Where are you going, TJ? Thanks, Woulda. I'm going to Scotland and England, going over to the United Kingdom. We leave tomorrow." Drew L says, "TJ, I think you should look at Matthew Berry's newest fantasy rankings. They're honestly laughably bad. I'll have to look at those later." Baker to Carolina, says Nick O. And then Frank was saying probably most likely. Drew L says no one is going to take a 34-year-old quarterback at this point. Plus, Colin Kaepernick never has thrown for 3,500 passing yards in a season, so I think that's why no one's signing him. Also, Alexander saying Kaepernick still's got it. I don't know, Alexander. Man, he hasn't played in 6 years.
He has the physical attributes. He still throw the ball, but the same things that caused him to lose his job are probably still there. Just like that little snippet that I saw. Did that really impress me? No.
He hasn't played in 6 years. And here's the thing. If he was really so steadfast in getting in the league as quick as he possibly could, every single offseason, you'd be hearing these stories. Every single offseason, every time, he would be chomping at the bit. I've seen guys stand outside of stadiums with signs, "Give me a chance for a workout. I'll do anything for a chance for a workout." I mean, it's about the hunger, right? I'm not sure he's got the hunger and the desire to be, what he had been in the past. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just, I don't think he's got the hunger and desire there either. I think he was an okay to a below average quarterback during his prime. And he's a guy who hasn't played down in the league in 6 years. Sorry. I couldn't imagine there being a whole bunch of interest behind a guy who hasn't played 6 years and was a below average quarterback at best.
No.
Anyway, moving right along. Nico is saying that's the same guy who related the NFL to the NFL Combine there to slavery. Now wants a job on there. Well, yeah, I didn't get the NFL Combine with slavery stuff. I mean, they look at every single person the same. They put them under extreme scrutiny because they're about to invest millions of dollars and they're about to determine whether this guy they're going to select to be a part of their organization can either set them up and win them a Super Bowl or set the organization and the franchise back 10 years. So they're going to be really, 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 really in depth with what they do.
You always catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar, Colin Kaepernick.
Anyway, Drew L says here, Kaepernick's contract of Nike had expired. I thought it was has his contract expired? I thought it was like a 10-year, $100 million contract. Yeah, Grumpy, you said it's money. I don't think it is. Got to pay a former lawsuit too, I believe. He sucked. And then Alexander saying here, Kaepernick is better than half the league's backups. I don't know. All the
okay. Let's say he's better than half the league backups. You're going to bring in a backup who's brought all that baggage, enough baggage where you could travel around the world? No way.
The backup needs to be the guy that nobody knows the name of. That's the cute guy that stands on the sidelines who just goes there and collects a check. He wears a hat every single time. You don't want to see him on the field. You don't want to hear about him. He stands over there and signals the calls also to the quarterback is kind of what they do.
Supporting the team. The team is important. You don't play. You're barely even on the team because unless a quarterback gets hurt, you're never seeing the field.
Yes. I don't know. It really shouldn't because he stood for something that was actually happening. He hasn't played in 6 years. I'm just talking about where we are now.
I think he's talking about the social justice thing.
Oh. Here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Here's the only problem I have.
We say here's the thing a lot. We need to stop that.
That's fine. The only thing, well, you can stop it. That's fine. Here's the thing.
Fuck.
I would have more respect for him if he had done that when he was a starting quarterback and he had something to lose. He waited till he was on a bad San Francisco team and was not going to play. That's when he reached out and brought all those things up.
No one says Kaepernick so-called baggage also belongs to people who are against the equality stance. His only belongs to those. I'm sorry. His so-called baggage only belongs to the people who are against the equality stance. Here's the thing: the baggage. I don't consider he is going to cause media. He's going to cause media issues. They're going to ask all the time, always, because now he's going to be on the big platform every single week. Does a team want to go ahead and say Colin Kaepernick, right? Out of the guys they interview every single week, okay, they're calling the press. Okay, we're bringing Colin Kaepernick up. Oh, okay, because we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this that's happened in the news. It's not you tell us what's happened in the news this week, and now you're going to get additional questions asked to your players about that. It's like, think about this too. The Patriots, when they were going for the undefeated season, they don't want their players to be asked about that, right? It's inevitable. You're going to be asked about how does it feel to have a perfect season, all this. They do not want those distractions. They don't want it. They don't want the media distraction. They don't want that enveloping everything about the team.
It's about
The backup quarterback cannot be. It's the same reason why Tim Tebow was out of the league as quick as you could freaking blink an eye. Tim Tebow was a freaking distraction too, good, bad, or indifferent. A freaking distraction. I've used the example before. He was a guy who was. I don't think he was a very talented quarterback. He was a guy who, okay, all he does is win. Oh, Tebowing. It was a funny little trend. That was it. Again, not a great quarterback and a freaking distraction. That's why as soon as you could say, oh, Tim Tebow could be a backup here or a backup there. He won a lot of games. He's a competent starter. He's a freaking distraction.
It's about team. It's all about team. It's not about one player or one individual. It's just not. That's not the NFL. It's a $1 billion enterprise. Sorry, that's just the way it is. You can't have everybody go pulling in different directions. Not if you want to win. You can't do that.
Alexander said, did you guys see the story about him and a soldier? He asked the soldier if he can kneel. The soldier said, yes, it's the most American thing you could do is to
He's lying. He's a liar. He's a flat. I don't believe anything he said.
But the soldier said that, so you're wrong. Don't even.
Yeah.
You've never seen it, so don't bother. I know you've never seen it.
Here's the thing. It came off as really disrespectful. It absolutely did. So when he comes, let's say he signs with the team. Let's say he signs back. What's the news all week? Is Kaepernick going to kneel? Is he going to kneel? Are things really much better now than they were 5 years ago? No.
Well, that's different, right? That's why I said the media attention is what they don't want for the backup QB. They don't want that's what it is. I don't. Okay, the story was what it was. Great. I don't care if he kneeled, didn't kneel. I really don't care. The question is this: is he a quarterback that can play in the NFL? No. Is he a guy that could maybe have been? Here's the thing. If he was a guy who was a milquetoast Marvin who was just sitting there collecting his check, could he have slowly made up, friendships? And I'll let you know, a lot of those backup spots, not every backup QB is the best backup quarterback that's out there and available. A lot of times it's because, I've got a good relationship with Joe Schmo from the Alamo. So now they like me and I'm comfortable. I play in his system and I know his system really well. So if something happens, they have a comfort level with me. Nathan freaking Peterman, a miserable NFL quarterback, kept his job for the Raiders for how many years as a backup just because the coach liked him and he had familiarity with him. He sucked. Awful QB.
Why do you see most of these backup quarterbacks are guys in their 30s, mid-30s? Because they're practically assistant coaches on the field. Brian Hoyer, perfect example for the Patriots. It's like he's a backup quarterback. Yes, but he's really an assistant coach to work with the younger players. That's what they are. Is that Colin Kaepernick? Has that ever been Colin Kaepernick? No. Just is what it is.
Anyway, he should have never been blackballed from the league. Here's the thing. I don't even know if he honestly was blackballed from the league.
He wasn't good enough. He lost his job on a really bad San Francisco team because he wasn't good enough. That's why. And he asked for his release.
Here's the thing. I've never cared that he did the kneeling. Don't care either which way. Do what you want. Just don't bug me. I don't care what he did. I didn't get all patriotic about it. But here's the thing. Don't bug me. And I think the team said, we don't want to have the media. I firmly believe that. I think Colin Kaepernick and Tim Tebow are the same, just on a different page. It's exactly what it is. Tim Tebow, whether you like it or not, was a media distraction. That's why he was out of the league like that.
And I will say
Colin Kaepernick is a media distraction. When it's a backup quarterback, that's why he's out of the league like that.
True. And I will say that people of a certain age have different views on kneeling or standing for the national anthem. That much I can tell you. Yeah. People who are my age, sorry, we don't believe in that. Sorry.
I don't care. So,
Well, but here's the thing. I'm just telling you. You said it doesn't matter to you, but people of a certain age, it absolutely means something to. I'm just now telling you.
gotcha. But yeah, I want to get on. We got off on the trail, but so I figured
You're the one who brought it up, not me.
I figured well, Grumpy, you actually sent me that. You sent me the clip, so I went ahead and I was like, okay, we'll
I
talk
sent you
about
a
it.
million articles. I'm surprised you pick any of them.
I did. I picked up the one that you sent me. What can I say? Actually, I read the text messages you send me, Grumpy, even though you don't get a response back. I do occasionally read the text messages you send me. Getting back to more fun news and items. Now, talking about, I thought this was very odd and unique. He didn't lose his job because of his play. He lost his job because of the backlash. He also took the starting job from Gabbert fast, but people always leave that part out. Blaine Gabbert blows.
You're mistaken.
Blaine Gabbert blows.
Yeah, Blaine Gabbert does blow. You know what he is? He's a career backup.
Blaine Gabbert's out of the league.
No, he's not. He was backing up in Tampa the last few years.
Holy shit.
He's been the backup. He's 31, 32 years old. He's the backup. That's what he is. He's a backup.
Blaine Gabbert is still in the NFL.
Yeah. And you know what? He's a backup. Why? Because he keeps his mouth shut. He works to help get the starting quarterback ready. That's what the backup's job is.
Who the heck is Joe Schoen? Couldn't tell you.
He's the GM of the Giants.
Oh, you said, TJ, what do you think of Joe Schoen? Okay, I couldn't tell you who the hell Joe Schoen was. I don't know. They're not going to draft a quarterback. They need a quarterback. Daniel Jones blows. And
the only thing I can say is that they want
year. Don't be sorry for bringing it up, Alexander. No, we're just talking about it. We'll move on from the subject because I mean it's one of those that still I think is always a hot button issue. But I'm just sharing my 2 cents. I think it's because he's a distraction. But I'm sorry. Back on Joe Schoen.
I think he's done okay. I don't know why he didn't look for an upgrade over Daniel Jones. Maybe Brian Daboll has saw something in Daniel Jones that he likes, but he's not even married to him. You hear him; he's not glowing in his response. I thought if you were going to go for a backup, it should have been somebody more than Tyrod Taylor, though.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's a joke. It's a freaking joke that they're going to keep him. I think that we talked about it, right? It buys you an extra year of job certainty. Oh, this is the quarterback I inherited.
The GM's going to be there for a while. Same guy. They both came.
I think Grumpy's having some technical issues, but yeah, I know. General manager is going to be there for a bit. Grumpy old man, you having some tech issues?
A little bit. They're both from Buffalo, so they're both going to be there for at least a couple of years. So they have a little bit of time. I don't think Daniel Jones is the answer. I didn't when they drafted him. I feel even less so now. Maybe he feels he can do something with him because of his physical talents. We're going to find out really, really soon.
My friend was like, we have the best general manager in the league. And I was like, bro, he's been there for 2 months. No, I'm pretty sure
it's something new, right? It's something new.
Exactly.
He did a good job in Buffalo as
exactly
player personnel director there.
No, none. I'm sorry. Says Kaepernick last year in the league was ranked 16th in QBPR. I don't like that stat beginning to begin with. He had 4 touchdowns to 1 interception ratio. He also played he played 12 games and had 16 passing touchdowns. It's the same reason why the quarterback, look at what Pat Mahomes, look at the fantastic quarterbacks are doing. They're passing for like 3-4 touchdowns a game. Passing for a touchdown a game just doesn't cut it in the NFL, despite throwing, the third stringers on the worst and the worst defense in the league. But yeah, push the narrative that he wasn't blackballed. Okay, do we need to go down and look at the actual wide receivers and the actual talent that was in San Francisco at that time period? I really hate to do that, but
that team bottomed out with him as quarterback. He lost his job. He had lost his job in spring training. Lost it. He wasn't good enough. He could not learn the offense. Blaine Gabbert took his job because he was a smarter quarterback. Not as physically talented, that's for certain. But he could read defenses. Colin Kaepernick was never capable of doing that. It was him running. He was the first, that RPO thing. He was the first guy. And he came in half season in and led them to a Super Bowl because of his athletic ability. And no one knew how to defense it. Once they learned, he did not make the adjustments to get better. That's why he lost his job.
Their wideout core was shit. But here's the thing. It was bad.
The whole team was terrible.
I was about to say, yeah, the wideout core was bad. His weapons were bad. The entire team was bad. So I don't know what else to tell you. Anyway, but that being said, but he was blackballed. Also, backup running backs. Not sure what that is. What's back up? The Giants will take Malik Willis.
Oof, wow, that's a reach again. No, there's no quarterback worthy of being drafted in the top 10. Just not. If you want to trade back, maybe
quarterback will get drafted in the top 10. I hope the Giants take a quarterback. I'm bullish on Kenny Pickett, maybe because I'm a University of Pittsburgh fan. Take the gamble, take it. I've seen him play for 3-4 years. I'm telling you, the kid has what it takes to be an above average quarterback in the NFL. Right? You talk about game managers. I think he's a guy who could be a little bit above a game manager. A guy maybe like a Kirk Cousins, a little above a game manager, in my opinion.
Okay. If you want Kenny Pickett, drop back. What team's looking for quarterbacks? With all this quarterback movement, who's looking for a quarterback? Carolina? You think Carolina is going to burn the number 6 pick in the draft on a quarterback? They might trade back.
He said he lost his job, but never mentioned that he got his job back.
He didn't get his job back. It was in the offseason. It was in the offseason.
In 2016? No, he did get he played 12 of the games.
It was in 2017 is when he lost the job. It was in the offseason.
No, 2016 was when he lost the job. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's 6 freaking years ago. I can't remember the lore of what happened 6 years ago in this situation. Bottom story, the guy threw for 16 freaking touchdowns an entire season of playing quarterback. Is that adequate to being an NFL caliber quarterback? And you can answer that question. No, none. It's not. I mean, he's a backup, a guy who brings media attention, good, bad, or different. Again, I'll say it. Tim Tebow, Colin Kaepernick, same freaking page, same book. Distractions, backup quarterback level talent, not worth it. Simple as that.
Yeah, true.
Anyway, I got to move on from the topic. Willis is worthy of a first rounder.
Just not top 10.
I don't know.
He's played
in Liberty. Dan Jones may blow up. I don't think so. I don't know. I think he's been miserable from what I've seen.
How many years has he been there now? 3?
This will be his 4th year, I think, coming up.
I mean, you know.
Oh,
I mean, the Giants have not been good, but he's a turnover machine.
And not right away. He needs to develop his accuracy a bit more. Talking about Daniel Jones, and he's got all the tools.
I think he's talking about Willis. I think he's talking about Malik Willis.
Okay, Willis has got. I think he's got a high ceiling, no doubt.
Yeah.
Drew Ellis. The Giants need to get Charlie Cross first, and then get Pickett. I'm fine with that.
There might be a lot of offensive linemen who maybe you didn't expect to split be available to the Giants at number 5. Maybe Evan Neal, maybe the kid from North Carolina State might be available at number 5. The Jets were supposedly a team that was going to draft an offensive lineman. They signed a couple in offseason. So maybe there's not the urgency to to draft an offensive lineman in the first round. The same thing with the Texans. They're saying the Texans are leading to Aiden Hutchinson. And then Houston is maybe leaning towards Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame. We still got a ways to go, of course. But just based on free agency, maybe the needs of teams that were looking at offensive tackles has changed a little bit. I think Charles Cross is definitely the 3rd of the 3. That's for certain.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I can't comment on any of the offensive linemen yet. I haven't watched any of the film, so I'll have to look back at that. What do you think the Islanders' chance are of making the playoffs? Don't say 0, Grumpy.
0.01%. Not 0.
Oh, man.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying there's a chance. Oh, my goodness.
I think there's a greater chance of them being 20 points out of a playoff spot as opposed to making the playoffs.
Go Water says here, Jones, compared to other quarterbacks they have this year, makes them look a bit better because Fromm and Glennon are awful. Yeah, they're bad, and so is Daniel Jones. So you're looking at the best of the worst. It's not a good situation. You can never be a successful team like that. Quarterback has to be more talented. They reached on Jones originally, and he's been a miserable pick. And give up. Just move on from him. I think Daniel Jones will do well if he doesn't get hurt. Watch his neck issue. Good luck to him. Frank, you're more optimistic than I am. Yeah. And again, you could say, Daniel Jones has had injuries for his wide receiver core, his running back. It's tough to be successful when that happens. Yeah, I'm sorry. At some point, right, you have to start saying other teams, other quarterbacks sometimes play with a lot worse cast and crew that has health issues, but they're able to string together more successful years than that. I mean, at best, I'm talking about the best case scenario for Daniel Jones. He's a game manager. Absolute best case scenario.
Okay,
Let's face it.
he's been starting quarterback for 3 years. Has he improved at all? No. No, he's the same guy as when he came in.
Hmm.
He's just not good enough. Sorry.
No one says here. They took Kaepernick's job away week 2, gave him back to him week 6. The grumpy guy's memory's off. Very
Now,
well could be. It could
that's entirely possible. That I'm going to agree with that. Maybe my memory is shot. I'll go with that.
I was about to say it's so long ago. I couldn't remember what happened 6 years ago, to be quite frank. But Goatwater Shorts says here, I did so much research on a draft just for the Browns to trade it all away.
But you have a quarterback now.
Yep.
You have a quarterback now. I don't know if he's going to start week 1, but you have a quarterback now. Most important position.
Kenny Galloway and Kadarius Toney had 0 touchdowns, and Jones, the majority of the season, was our starter. Yeah.
They were both kind of banged up.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I wanted to show you this. I think it was kind of funny when you look at the MLB, the disparity. Now, first off, I was shocked. Oh man, that's a really small image. The Mets have more on payroll this year than the Yankees do. I can't remember the last time that's happened.
They got a new ownership. They're not afraid to spend money. I always hated when the Mets tried to say that they were a small market team. They actually came out and said it. We're a small market team. Dude, you're 8 miles from the Yankees. What do you mean you're a small market team?
They're a small market team, Grumpy. You just don't know. Now, let's talk about this. Yeah, the Oakland Athletics have spent $0 this year in the offseason. And I mean 0 in free agency.
They're trading guys.
Penny. If I buy MLB The Show, the video game, I've spent more money in the offseason than the Oakland Athletics.
They traded everybody. I mean, just look at the disparity. Look at the teams on the right-hand side. Are they going anywhere this year? No. Baltimore.
These teams never go anywhere because they never spend any money. Now, let me ask you guys. Go ahead.
Oakland has competed in the past, but Miami, Pittsburgh, and Baltimore, they've been the dregs for years and years and years. Cleveland was good, but then they started their sell-off a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the Cleveland Guardians, man, how the mighty have fallen. Baltimore, my God, freaking Baltimore's always miserable. They always get all these picks. They can never keep anybody. They can never develop a team because they never spend any freaking money. And again, Baltimore, it's not like it's I don't know I don't know how wealthy the owners are. The Baltimore's. All these baseball owners are billionaires. Every single one of them. I'm just like, I do think that when you talk about the disparity, right? You've got the team on the top that spends almost, they're spending almost, 10 times as much as the team on the bottom spends. Now, I do think there is an issue when you talk about how the league is set up. Something needs to be done about that. There has to be a salary cap floor established. Even if the MLBPA, right, you could say, okay, we'll give you some sort, we'll bargain somewhere in the middle. We have to establish a salary cap.
But they don't want, that's the whole thing. They don't want the salary cap. And this is what the players have been talking about though, right? You have teams that are tanking. So how are they going to stop that? Well, if you're in the bottom 6, you get to, to draw whatever, like a lottery for the number 1 pick. Okay. It's to try to avoid tanking. But I mean, look at the salaries to start the year. You can't say they're trying to tank. They're just not even trying to field competitive teams. I mean, you're right. But to have a salary cap floor, you have to have a salary cap ceiling too. You just can't say, okay, you guys have to spend this and there's going to be no cap to what you can spend. But the players won't go for that. I think if they were smart, they would go for something like that and say that there's a floor and then everybody gets paid more money in the long run. And then you're not going to have the disparity between the Dodgers and the Orioles. I mean, that's just ridiculous, right? Let's be honest. But how do you do that? You have a ceiling and a floor. The owners would never go for just a floor, and the players would never go for just a ceiling. So you have to, if you're smart, you meet in the middle and have both.
You would think so. But I saw that. I'm like, man, the Mets are spending more than the Yanks. I'm like, I'm excited. Obviously, as a Mets fan, right? You got to feel like this is our year. I want to talk a little bit about the Boston Celtics, grumpy old man. You want to talk about the Boston? They have been pummeling teams around the NBA. Think about this. Since the start of the year until January 22nd, they were 23-24. Since January 22nd, they've been 22-4. You want to talk about a team getting hot?
At the right time, and Jason Tatum has finally come into his own.
He's been fantastic for them as of late. Unbelievable.
He's been good for them in recent years, but I don't think that he knew how to be I'm the man. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
now he
Jason's
knows
hot.
that.
He's still, well, how old is Jason Tatum? Like 22, 23 years old?
23, something like that.
I was about to say, he's got to be young. He's all these one and dones, right? I mean, he's been fantastic for certain. That's the best record in the NBA over that 26 game span. So, man, oh man, you talk about the Boston Celtics. We can't talk about heating up.
They're blowing teams out too.
Yeah, unbelievable. No doubt about it. To keep us honest, to give us a little NBA action, Grump, we got to do what we can do here to keep everything up. I think the second best offensive lineman is Akeem. Oh, I can't pronounce it.
He's the kid from North Carolina State.
I got to watch film. I can't comment on anybody. Got to watch film. And then Goatwater Short says here, remember when the Giants would have made the playoffs if the Washington football team would have lost that game? It's crazy to think that Daniel Jones was that close to hosting the GOAT in a playoff game.
And they played him actually very tough that year.
The Washington football team, right?
No, the Giants against it was a late 2-point conversion that was not converted. A lot of people thought it was pass interference by Antoine Winfield Jr. That's how the game ended.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Man, I remember.
On a Monday Night Football. Yeah.
Drill said, all I'm going to say is Kenny Galloway and Kadarius Toney, 0 touchdowns. 0 touchdowns. Yeah, I got to do better. What a film saying here. On another podcast, you were saying baseball made a big mistake. What was that?
I don't remember.
When they originally had, I think this is before they had signed the CBA. Now, I still think that the CBA, at least they got it done. But yeah, I don't know. The Players Association is asking for a lot, and it seems like the teams always cave to whatever the demands are.
I don't think that was the case this time, though.
Gotcha.
I think it was a pretty fair deal.
Joseph C. saying the Wilpons are a small market owners post Madoff. They were post Madoff. Thank God we dropped them and got Cohen, who's the richest owner in the sport. Let's go, Mets.
And he's not afraid to spend the money. You just got to be willing to spend it. All these guys have money. Just have to be willing to spend it.
Goatwater Short says here, they need a salary cap floor, and a salary cap wouldn't be bad either if they replace the luxury tax. I've heard it's almost useless.
Yeah. They make so much money, it means nothing to go over the top of the luxury tax. Just make it a cap and a floor, and make the cap, okay, let's say you want the floor the cap to be 250, but you make the floor to be 100. Everybody gets paid.
Jurel says here, Oakland is really good at the Moneyball thing. The problem is they've got to spend more in order to become a World Series contender. Baseball is different than any other sport, though. Obviously, you need one in football, or you just got to have the best quarterback in the NFL. All the money you can throw at it, and you can carry you. Cashman has turned into a Moneyball general manager.
Yeah, I've been disappointed in him.
And having a franchise caliber quarterback is much more important than having a franchise, center fielder, obviously, is what I'm trying to say.
True.
Absolutely. Yep. Eagles blew us out there. If it wasn't for the big playoffs, absolutely. The Grump, we're here at the end of the show today. What do you want to say before we wrap things up?
I want to say love and laughter to everyone who listens, and even those who don't, from TJ and the Grumpy Old Man.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the show. The schedule will be odd and crazy and wacky. We'll still try to get on live and provide you guys content. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube. Make sure you have the notification bell turned on, so you'll be able to see a little ding, ding, ding when we go ahead and actually go live. Make sure you like on Facebook and follow on Twitter. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Again, the schedule will be an odd one. We don't exactly know what it is. I guess it just kind of depends on what everything looks like. Oh, Alexander said no fan fight. That's right. Thanks for reminding me. Dun, 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 dun. We do have a fan fight. I totally forgot. And it's a good fan fight too, Grumpy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Alexander, for reminding me here on this.
I love fan fights. Honestly, it's the favorite part of the show.
You got a little false. We got a little.
We don't see the picture.
Okay, give me a sec.
Okay. Sometimes you don't realize that it's not up. That's all.
Okay, give me a sec here. Huh?
For
Okay.
Teddy Tech Savvy, sometimes you forget. Oh,
Thank you.
this is a parking lot brawl.
It's a parking lot brawl, and this is an old football one. So bringing back some old football fights, Grumpy. These are always the best. I'm sure that there's a lot of drinking going on at these events, and there's a lot of fighting, a lot of.
You're not allowed to drink in the parking lots, I thought.
Oh yeah, I see people pointing at him there. Oh, it's like WWE where he's like, he's having to be held back. The guy in the blue sweatshirt. I have a feeling there's a lot. Let's go back to this. There are a lot of people coming at the guys in the blue sweatshirt. I see about 5 or 6 different individuals.
It's so hard to see.
Because it's done. Yeah, here's the thing, right? Anybody who films a freaking fight needs to know this is fight filming 101, fan fight filming 101. Don't film like this. Don't film portrait. Flip the phone and go to landscape, damn it. Ah.
This is in Jacksonville, isn't it?
Maybe. They got a lot to fight about down there. Always getting wilded up. Blue shirt ready to go.
It's the Bills. The Bills are always battling.
Oh God, go. Look at all.
The woman. Is that a woman that draw blows?
Hold on. Oh man, we got to go back to this. So they have 2 people that get roped up. Look at this. So at first, the guy in the black shirt starts choking the guy in the blue shirt, or the guy in the gray shirt chokes the guy in the black shirt, and I think the guy gray shirt is with the blue shirt people, but the Jacksonville fans are against Mr. Gray Shirt. So you have both teams that just have one sacrificial lamb that are standing there and getting pummeled by the other group. It's interesting. We've never seen a fan fight like this one, Grump. That's why you don't see any of the blue shirts helping out their friends. Both sacrificial lambs are tucking their head and just taking blows to the head, just going bam, 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 bam.
Gray shirt has black shirt in a sleeper hold, and he's turtling. So he's taking blows to the head, but he's like doing the rope-a-dope with Muhammad Ali, and he's got the chokehold like old WWF chokehold.
But I love how the both sides, right? They're not punching the other active combatants. They're punching the sacrificial lamb. They're punching the sacrificial lamb. They're not punching the active participants, which is hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Look how many freaking punches.
What are you doing? I don't care about the parking lot attendant. Get back over there. Well, looks like it's broke up a little bit. A lot of women involved in this fight. Oh, just threw some can. That was full, too.
Don't mess with those Florida fans.
Oh, now this guy comes in with a cheap shot.
I missed that one. Hold on. I'm sorry. I looked away for a second.
Oh,
my God. Holy shit. You're not kidding. Oh, my God. That was Mr. Gray Shirt, who's getting pummeled earlier. Oh, see, honestly, number 12 should get his ass lit up for doing something like that. I'm talking about annihilated.
The women are going after him. Oh, he's bloodied.
He's concussed.
He's a little leaky. He's leaking, and he's a little wobbly at this juncture.
They should take number 12. Yeah, he's
somebody should drag him down and run him over in the parking lot.
They literally said he's leaking. Did you hear that, Grumpy?
That's what I said. He's leaking.
I don't know. I thought it was funny. You said the same thing he did.
Yeah.
Bills Mafia, unfortunately, didn't get. There he is. 16-2. He's got to get pummeled. All these kids. Those kids they all look under the age of 21, those kids.
Watch out for Bills Mafia. Watch out.
Bills Mafia, assemble! They go ahead and start stacking up chairs, and they start laying chairs down and knocking people on, diving through tables. I'm sorry, tables. Oh, man.
The Dudley boys.
Oh, man.
Well, look at this guy talking shit.
Honestly, that wave should get his.
He's a little bitch. I'd go and bitch slap him.
Look at his skinny jeans. My God. Couldn't be weighing more than 100 pounds soaking wet. I hope the police come. There we go. Yeah, here are the police finally on the scene.
Why are they walking with their bikes?
They use them. They go ahead and rope people off. They go da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Have you never seen them with the bikes? That's how they separate people.
Well, they got it all on film.
Time to start arresting these people. Time to start carding these individuals. Time to start carding these 21-year-old kids.
Look at this girl over here. She's a cheerleader, it looks like. Maybe she's going to do one of those jumps in the air. Hey!
Oh my God, that's good. That's a good one. That's a good one, Alexander. My gosh,
what a way to end the night.
Fan fights. Oh man, forever on this show. I love it. Thank you, Alexander, for sending that. Thank you.
Best. Alexander's the best, isn't he?
And hit thumbs up. Thanks, Frank, for reminding us. Hit the thumbs up, ladies and gents, if you're still here. Like, things couldn't get worse for the Jags. LOL. Yeah, Jags fans have a reason to be upset. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you, Grumpy. We'll see you soon.